Howdy, folks. Welcome. Welcome to getting started with the BoldTrail platform. Pleasure to be here with you today. My name is Brett Kay, and I'm a product trainer with Inside Real Estate. I believe my director, Kelly, is joining me for moderation in the EXP World Chat. That's where I'd ask you to direct your questions. KV Core users, you are now a BoldTrail user, okay? There wasn't anything that you had to do. Although I will point out a pro tip for you, which would be if you had the KV Core mobile app downloaded before, if you were a KV Core user, then simply just uninstall that one, follow the directions from your platform to download the mobile app for BoldTrail, and you're good to go.
Howdy, folks. Welcome.
So, what are we looking to accomplish here today, folks? Here at Inside Real Estate, the BoldTrail trainers and crew like to call it the client journey. These are based on an organizational concept that my hope is you will understand at the conclusion of today's session. This helps you organize, categorize, target, follow up, nurture based on these statuses and categories. And where you come in, it's called the hashtag. So we're going to talk about that, how everything's organized. And it's key. If you haven't imported your contacts yet, this is a great time. If you have already got your contacts into BoldTrail, that's okay too. But let's be thinking about that they're organized in a way that makes sense so that as I follow up and engage, I can use strategic, high value, content based on what I know about them, this area, relationship, financial status, if they had a loan or that type of thing. Do they own a home? Are they renting? Are they looking to? So here's our objectives today, friends. I'm sure you've all seen this one before. Sales funnel. I'm aware, right? Your brand. I'm thinking about it. I make a decision to work with you. Hopefully, you're doing your job, you're reaching out, you're following up. I win the business and then repeat, right? So it was a true home ownership life cycle of buy-in lists because you're doing a good job. Here's a stat for you. I don't know if this one's on this slide deck. Over 90% of folks, your clients that you sold or listed a home for, say they would work with that real estate agent again, and yet less than 8% actually do. Why is that? Isn't that money just sitting on the table? We need to nurture them forever. So top of the funnel awareness. So now what I'm going to do is connect our statuses. We have 7 statuses in the platform to each one of these stages of this funnel. Right? Here in BoldTrail, we're calling them new lead and prospect. Now, as I go through this, remember that although you do need to pick one of these statuses, you can hashtag it, label it, categorize it. Another way to say hashtag, no spaces, whatever you want. But we got to pick one of these. All the automation's wrapped around this concept. Now I'm thinking about you. The stages that we're going to consider in the platform are prospect, new lead, and active. Yeah, there's going to be some overlap, sure. Should I work with this person? I'm reading some reviews. That's the reality. Maybe I'm reading some blogs, looking at your website. Look at that. Look at some of those stats. 2 to 3 months on average. But I've seen stats of 6 to 19 months to actually do the whole completion of the deal. They're searching, but there's more involved in that, as you know. Keep these things in mind as we're planning strategically for how we're going to leverage the platform for our business. So I've made a decision. I'm going to work with you. Outstanding. Okay. In the platform, we call this, at least I love this about the platform, that it didn't always have to be this way. This is how the default settings are out of the system with the automation tools connected to this concept of status. We're connecting these to the sales funnel. So now I made a decision. You're my client. We signed some paperwork. We're showing homes. We wrote an offer. You're in contract. And keep in mind that we have smart campaigns connected to both of these. All of them, all the statuses default out of the box. Yes, you can change them. Our goal here today is to get you started and to understand if you're importing leads, consider these things. If you have imported leads, consider these things. And take it one step further to hashtag it. Okay, so now I won you. You're my client. Call it a past client. You're my sphere of influence. Falls in that category as well. And that is one that we will call you is our past clients are typically put in sphere, and I hashtag it past client, no spaces. And closed, of course. Congratulations. Remember that stat I just threw out there? Why is that? Why 8% or less are the clients that actually do use that agent for their next buyer list? Why is that? They're not following up. Don't let that be you. The way that the system is organized is based on these 4 categories. Now, predominantly, we're going to focus on status, deal type, and hashtag. Source, for the most part, is hard-coded a lot of the time. If I'm buying leads from somebody, name it, doesn't matter who. Sorry about that. It's going to get a source. Like if I'm buying Facebook leads and you connected it to the platform, it's going to come as Facebook. If it was Google, if it was Zillow, if it was Realtor, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Some things, how the lead signs up has a hard code. If you imported it, it's going to have an import source. If it just found your website, it might have agent or organic website source. Let's focus on these top 3. You can always hashtag it whatever you want. As we look at a contact record, a screenshot here, let's take a peek at this client journey, the 7 statuses we've introduced that are associated with those stages in the sales funnel, the client journey. It's the same thing, really, right? These are the statuses to be aware of. Campaigns and automation for all. I have a campaign for every one of those for you folks. You're like, well, what are they? Don't get too caught up and let it hold you back from what we might call it, our categories. I'll give you an explanation, but remember that you can hashtag anybody, anything you want, anytime to call it exactly what you want it to be, but you need to understand this first. People I know, past clients, friends, family, they may or may not be searching for real estate. Doesn't mean they won't in the future or know someone else that is in the future. I don't know you. I want to know you. I'd love to help sell, help you buy or list your home. A lot of times lists come in like this where you either bought a list or I don't know you. I haven't met you yet. A new lead's anybody that signed up on your website. Period. That's how we define it. And they'll come in automatically as a new lead, either a buyer, seller, or renter in that case. If I'm buying leads, connecting leads, either from an outside source or from within the inside real estate marketplace ecosystem, it's still going to come in as a new lead. The system calls an active lead someone that you've actually had a conversation with. And that could be good or bad, or who is this? But the point is the system will note anybody that has actually responded to a text, email, and or call that you actually logged via your mobile app or from the laptop to put them in a status for you that you can then focus your energies on people that have responded. What next? It's up to you because you drive from here on out. Something to note is this behavioral automation, if I had someone on a new lead campaign or a prospect campaign for that matter, we call them smart campaigns, and they respond, text, email, or logged call, the system automatically moves them to active. So then you can sort and manage your pipeline based on that status. From here on out, you drive, though. I don't want you to think that forever, something automatically is going to moving. It's not. This is to put you in a position, the best position to get into conversation with this person because they said something. So we're not sending them any more emails or texts. Now it's your turn. So there's campaigns associated with every one of these stages of the client journey. Some of them are simply task-based for the agent. Those would be agent, client, and contract. All personal communication in these three stages are coming from you. So our campaign truly is just a task reminder. What are you going to do now? We write an offer. It's accepted. Along the way, the campaigns are dropping the old and adding the new, and dropping the old and adding the new, dropping the old and adding the new. Now, the close campaign most certainly has messages that go out to your clients. The close campaign is intended for folks that you've actually closed in the system. If you have a past client, it's recommended you hashtag them past client, put them on a Sphere homeowner campaign, and go from there. Then if they start looking again, maybe they become active, and then they're a client again, and then we write another offer and close. So just keep that in mind. Now, however, although the default campaigns are written as such as if you just closed them today, 30 days, there's some targeting for testimonial asks, referral asks along the way. Just keep it in mind. Doesn't mean you can't change it. I just want you to understand how it works. Okay? There may be and probably will be some leads you can't delete. That means you don't own them. Even if you do, should you? Everyone here in the training department would say no. We're of the mind to archive because anything can and does quite often change. I'm not looking the day. 6 months from now, I might. You know how challenging and expensive it can be to generate new leads. Something to think about. It's your call. Archive them essentially is just cutting off all communication. They're just sitting there, but if they reactivate themselves, they'll reactivate themselves. If delete, they're gone. See ya. And if it's grayed out and you can't delete it or archive it, I think you should be able to archive one of those. But if you can't delete it or export it, it's grayed out. It means you don't own the lead. It got assigned to you from somebody else. I think we're all familiar with this concept. Buyers, sellers, renters, vendors, agents. So if we have the prospect new lead contract closed, we have these 5 types. There are going to be situations where they're not really a buyer or a seller, and maybe none of these really fit per your view. Well, then maybe I call you a buyer and a seller, which means you could be either. We got to pick at least one. You can pick multiple types. You can only pick one status. I can't be a new lead and a prospect, but I could be a buyer and a seller. Here's where you come in. Hashtags. We're looking at a screenshot of a contact in the BoldTrail platform. Patio furniture here. You can have as many hashtags as you want. They're specific and private to you. Over time, you're going to build a hashtag library that you can just reselect them. Here's some examples. Question. They asked one. They're one of my VIP past clients. You can search on any and all of these values. Maybe it's something as it came in, the lead by source. This is a friend and family. Sky's the limit here, folks. Just don't use spaces. And there may be a few special symbols. The system will tell you can't use that one. But for the most part, you can use just about anything. And remember, it doesn't have to be more than one word. I could just call you hot. I could call you cold. I could just say pool. The better that you categorize your people by hashtag, be it when you're importing, recommended, best practice, or so what? They're already in and now you're learning about it. You can hashtag folks in mass individually. Like, I know this person's looking in San Diego. They really like the ocean and want a big backyard with some privacy. Those all could be hashtags. I get a listing with all those things. Search on those hashtags. Not cap sensitive, meaning upper or lowercase. It does need to be all one word. It does not require the hashtag symbol when created, with the one exception of when I'm adding a contact manually just by one. In that instance, you will. Now on that contact record over on the far left, we're going to have all the info that we know, all the intel that we know about the contact, where it came from, when it hit the system, what properties they're searching on, and where it came from. When we do our own lead generation, which you all can do, there's lots of tools in here that you can post to social media to drive them to your website at, through your own efforts. If I was buying leads from Facebook, it would come in with the source of Facebook. If I was paying, as you can see, a paid marketing source, it could come in. The system source is more of a hard code. How did it really come in? I'm looking at the contact record. Let's get familiar with it. Left-hand side, well, actually, when you consider the timeline, this part in the center, this is everything that ever happened. There's tabs up to the left to help you, give you some other features and options. But every email, every text, every call logged, every email, opened or not, property viewed, will be in the timeline. Up top, I'm going to see what status they're in. Over on the left, I can see they're a buyer. It's Billy Madison. I did give them the hashtag. We give it a predictive score with star rating and all the summary information we have on the left. Source, where it came from. How long ago did they come into the system? Do we know what properties at what price range will be on this left? Far right are all my automation actions and just actions in general. I want to send an email, add a task, make a call, add a search alert, schedule an appointment, put on a drip campaign. So left, all info. Predictive score is pretty cool, folks. The system, if they signed up on your website or if they start going to your website over time, is going to give them a 1 to 5 star predictive score based on behavior, activity, contact information being verified, these types of things. And what's really cool is it adjusts over time. I could lose a star if I quit going to your website. I could gain a star if I started going a bunch more. A pretty cool way you can keep track and filter in your contacts for star ratings. Everything. You can say timeline equals everything. Pretty cool. Okay. They clicked on this property. Oh, they saved this property. Oh, they opened that email at 4:14 on Tuesday. I can make a note. I can pin it to the top. If I'm working with a lender, we can have communication here via note. And then on the far right, all my actions. Make a call, task. Put a search alert on. Smart campaign. An area market report. There's valuations. I mean, the BoldTrail platform is your real estate business. The view, goal, vision, mission is to do it all from one area as much as technologically possible. So as we're in this CRM of choice, right? You all have been probably attending all of our friendly colleagues here with different types of CRMs, and you're considering, or you're already with us and you're along for the ride to learn some best practices. Whatever you do it every day. Okay? You got to get in here every day. You can't just go in here once, wait 5 days and say, well, nothing's working. Well, what are you doing to make it work? That would be my challenge to you. So when we're thinking about how it actually does work, when we're getting started, the first thing we need to think about is getting our people in, right? Importing. We have a team to help you do that. Add a lead, sync your emails, get some people in. That's an option. We'll do it for you. We have your Sphere playbooks. We have something in your lead import section about, we call it 10 by 10, how you can get 100 leads in there just to the people you know. Get them in. And you got to follow up. Just because I got you in and I imported you and I sent you all an email, mass email or something like that, maybe. Some people are going to respond. Some people aren't going to respond. For the ones that aren't going to respond, it doesn't mean they're a no good lead. It means we haven't reached them yet at the right time with the right message, and we need to nurture them using the platform to get them to your website. so that you're the expert that they use when they are ready. That's how we're going to get you to where you need to go. Hopefully this is clicking for everyone. So, it's a smart way to think about, because when we get into the platform, there's all kinds of neat stuff you can do, but where do you start? You get your people in. You make sure you understand how they're organized. It's a status, it's a prospect. It's a type, it's a buyer. It's a hashtag, whatever you want it to be. It's my friend. FHA loan, right? So in that way, when you have those three things in place, that's where you're going to really get effective with the platform and spend less time here and more time closing business. So let's get in here. I'll take a pause and see if I'm seeing any questions that I need to address. Kelly, I don't see any so far. Here we are in the platform. We're getting started. I'm going to point out a few best practices. Have you downloaded the mobile apps? Number 1, upper right, download mobile app. You get 2. Please follow the instructions from your platform. Got to have a mobile app, right? So once you've got your login, go ahead and download those mobile apps. So once you click on that guy or gal, it's going to have an option to text yourself the link, either iOS or Android, for the mobile app, agent, and then your open house app. 2, it's recommended that you consider taking the agent quick start. Now you're here for a getting started. We're condensing this high leveling best practices, but we can get more granular and cover more features in our agent quick start. This is offered every single week. It's at no cost to you. Trainer in moderated chat 4 times a week. Actually a real person there. Thanks, Kelly. We have a training calendar here. Be aware of it. If you want to say, hey, I want to jump in on session number 2 about contacts, or session number 4 about lead gen, I'd encourage you to consider these. So we downloaded the apps. We know where the training is. Now we need to get our people in. Where do I do that? Well, with BoldTrail, for my KV Core legacy users, now we have something called an Omni search on every page, where I can search for anything in the platform, be it an address, a first, last name, MLS ID, or a feature of the system. So if I want to import, just type in import. You're going to get your option drop down. There it is, lead engine bulk import. The lead drop box, for those so interested, is how I connect third-party leads. They both live in the feature called the lead engine. So I clicked on import up top, and here we go. This is how easy it is. Let us handle it would be our recommendation. You can try and do it yourself, but you're going to literally be doing it yourself. And if you screw it up, I'm sure you do fine, but then, it might take longer. So just let us handle it would be my recommendation. We have a team, Cameron and her team. They're outstanding. Could take as long as 3. Usually I see it done in a day or so. You need to get it to a spreadsheet. It's that simple. Watch the short video. Upper far right, we have examples of what a template looks like to import. It's super easy. If you click on down here, like gather your contacts, prepare for import. We just talked about that, how to organize your data. And then you can format your list. It'll pull up a spreadsheet that you can use as a template. All you got to do is make a copy. File, make a copy, and then you can use it. And down below, you'll find these tabs that'll help guide you through the process. Here's some fields we recommend. Here's the blank one with just the column headers, titles. And if I have any Canadian friends out there, there's some Canadian stuff too. Okay, so download the apps, get the training. It helps. Just help make everything easier. And we're all not going to use it the same way. So let's figure out how we do want to use it. And to do so, we got to organize it correctly. So get all your people in. Okay. Let's go over to, now we're going to leave the lead engine for a minute. We're not doing lead gen today, but this is where you get your leads imported. If I was to navigate to contacts up top, up left, or typed in contacts in the Omni search bar up top, any screen, contacts. Let's go ahead and go to contacts, folks. So now we feeling, everyone, take a deep breath when you're thinking out there, okay, this is the way to really wrap your head around what you can do with it, is thinking about how it's all organized. You see that with hashtags, I can organize it whatever the way I want. But there are a few things that we have to consider. If I look at this, no, pardon me one moment. Sorry, everyone. I'm looking at the contact section. Call it your CRM. We call it the contact section. It's the same thing. I have a filter over on the left, little arrow. I can collapse it. Whoops, didn't mean to do that. Right? Here on my, let's call it my table, right, of all my contacts. Mine might look a little different, right? I have maybe some add-ons here and there. So if mine looks a little different from yours, don't fret. First name, last name. Notice the status column, blue new lead, red prospect. Notice the type column, buyer, buyer, buyer. Hashtags. There's no limit. Look how many I gave this one. Big backyard, cash buyer, FHA loan, pre-approved 1 mil, 1 to 3 months, okay? And then that star rating I mentioned in this column. Show me all my people that have 3 stars. And over time, again, this will adjust unless if the agent, gave it 5 stars and I said, I think this is a 5-star lead, then it will remain 5-star forever until you change it. If you let the system ride, so to speak, it'll adjust accordingly based on behavior. You could always hashtag them 5-star, right? It's the same purpose that that you would consider that a 5-star. So I could just go to that leads record. Over on the left, remember this is all our info. And I can just say 5-star. Tag. Right? Show me everybody that I've hashtagged 5-star. And then as I keep scrolling over to the far right, I'm going to see where it came from, who's it owned by, and who's it assigned to. And it's me in both these example cases, and if I have a lender assigned. And for those of you out there in the EXP world, please reach out to EXP support if you want more information on adding a lender. There is a process there. It's not a cost, but you do have to get an admin to have it added for you, and then you can have that added to, if you want, your website in a finance tab. Everyone see that up top, like in finance, and that would be my lender then. So if that's something you want to do. Now, as we're getting familiar with this, okay, now what? Well, I'd recommend a couple things. One, let's create a couple filters. In the upper left, if I have any admins on the call, there is a concept of privacy, which for all us agents, that means that nobody can see your personal stuff that you've added to the system or that is signed up on your website. It'll literally say private here to an admin. So for you admins, all contacts, you're going to say, what are all these private leads? Well, that's why. Go to our admin class and that'll make sense from the learning portal. But I can just, navigate by my contacts. These are example of, filters that already exist in the system. They will always exist. Now, however, you can create as many saved filters as you want. Why would you want to do that? Think of them as a daily to-do. Okay, let's do a use case. What did we learn? We learned that active leads, which I don't really need to create a filter for this because I can just click the button active under status on the left and it'll give me everybody active. See how it all color coded? I know that every one of these people have responded. What are you going to do? Got to drive them to your website. I think we can all wrap our head around that. I could say, okay, well, I just imported my leads. Maybe I want to go a little deeper here. I'm going to go over to behavior. It's a filter down on the left. And I'm in my contacts. So show me everybody that doesn't have search alerts. I could create one for everyone that doesn't have market reports. No listing valuation if I have their address. And does not have a campaign. Now, I'd recommend if you're going to do this as a daily to-do and start to work through to give them a reason to go to your website because that is the goal. And that is how we're going to win this business, friends. Personally, I would do 4 separate ones, but you could just make one. Point here is, I would then, after I filtered for what I want, I could view those results. It's like I have quite a few in this account. And then at the top, you'll have a save filter option. Maybe I say leads with no property search alerts. I could pin it to the top or just leave it available in a drop-down stage or status. And then when I come in on my daily to-dos, you might say, I could click on that filter and start working through them. Should Brett have a search alert? Do I have enough information? Let's go ahead and click on Brett. What do we know? Well, it says no search alerts over here on the right. I have them on a campaign. Okay. I'm sending them a monthly market report in Nevada, it looks like. Well, why don't I have them on a search alert? Did he unsubscribe? I could look in the timeline. It looks, oh, well, that the text, the phone number wasn't good. I mean, I created this one. Is a bogus number, but we'll let you know that. You know what I mean? Subscribe. Well, I don't see any invalid email. Okay, so stuff like this. Maybe there's a reason. But if not, maybe I go ahead and add a quick search alert for this fellow. Then I go back to my contact and I could go to person number 2, or you can go and since I created a filter up here in the upper right, this is someone that doesn't have a search alert. Notice the previous and next button. I don't have to keep going back. I can just go to the next person in the list that doesn't have a search alert and the next person in the list that doesn't have a search alert. Okay, and make a decision. What can I do? And keep this in mind too. You might run a filter for people that have unsubscribed or that are subscribed. It's not just one way that we can unsubscribe, is it? I can unsubscribe from text, call, email. Think about it. If I unsubscribe from email, doesn't mean I necessarily, unsubscribe from you calling me. There is a distinction. So keep those things in mind. Doesn't mean all is lost if you see an unsubscribed here. Next. Timelines. Create saved filters. You can go even deeper. Let me give you another use case. Let's say I want to see everybody in my system that's either a new lead, a prospect, or active. Notice how I didn't even have to filter for it. I have 828. And I keep on going. I want buyers and sellers. Okay. Maybe I've been given hashtags of time frames like 1 to 3 months. Show me everybody that I've given a hashtag 1 to 3 months. That's a buyer seller. That's a new lead, prospect, active. I can keep going. Maybe I come down to behavior. Keep scrolling a bit and say, they were last active on my website in the past 30 days. They viewed a listing in the past 30 days. I have or haven't emailed them, have or haven't called them or texted, et cetera, et cetera. I could view those results. I don't know if I'll get any on that one. Didn't. But you get the idea. I can save the filter, target that group. You could even make a call list. Here's a use case for you folks. Let's say you filter like that. People I haven't called, which, by the way, best practice to be aware of. I just switched screens. I went back to the main dashboard for a moment. We're taking a side bar. The system sets up daily calls and tasks for you. When you go through that agent training, the agent quick start, you'll learn about setting up your profile. In that profile, you control these daily calls and tasks. And so what they are, which you can view from your mobile app, your laptop, and you get email daily if you've imported leads and put those leads on campaigns. Oh, here's one. Call Jay. It looks like the system's telling me that this person has never been called. How does it know that? Well, you haven't logged it in the system yet. You might say, well, I called him last Tuesday, but, well, the system doesn't know that. So think about that. When you're talking about putting tech to work for you, intelligence there, And other of the or more daily calls and tasks will be associated with the smart campaigns. If you have a buyer campaign, a prospect campaign, there'll be tasks for you to do along the way. There's one right up top. Weekly check-in. Check-in with contact. Not sure what to do today? Daily calls and tasks are going to help hopefully guide you. In addition to creating these cool filters, I just tab back to contacts, your CRM. I'm back, we're creating filters here, having a little fun. What about if I wanted to call all these people? Let's say I filter for people that I've never called. Let's see what happens. I'm going to go down to behavior. I'm going to filter for has not been called. They have an ever, all time. View results. 720. Now, granted, folks, this is demo data. So most of these are not real. But the point is, and let's say I want to call these people today, but I'm not going to sit at my laptop and do it, which you could, right? I could just sit here and make a call to Rhett over here right from my laptop. Or from my mobile app, you can do your daily calls. I could select this whole group. Let's put the hashtag to use. And I want to call these folks today, but I want to call them from my mobile app. Select the group that you want to make a predictive call list for. Go to more actions up top, and you're just going to add a hashtag because you can dial by hashtag. Mind blower? I mean, you create it. It could be whatever you want it to be. So maybe I call it, Wednesday dials. Remember, you got to use no spaces. Maybe today's dials. You get the point. It could be anything. Active bunny rabbits. Whatever you want to call it. What makes sense to you. But then when I pick up my mobile app, which you've all downloaded now or are in process of, well, then it'll say you want to dial your daily calls. You want to call an individual contact. Do you want to dial by hashtag? And you say, I want to dial by hashtag. You click it. It'll count down 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, showing you the contact information, what you do have in information for that contact before you connect. So you don't even have to dial it. And then you'll log the call and say either reached them, you didn't, or you throw in some notes, right? And you go on to the next call. Ways to maximize your time. When we're talking about, well, where do I start? Where I don't want to just, send 500 people an email and waste my time. How about targeting people that we know are more likely? How about that star rating? Remember that? I believe that's down in contact details. And by the way, all these different filters on the left, they're all here. If you scroll for them, they're all here. So you don't have to pick any of them. You know what I mean? I was down in contacts, and I believe what I'm looking for is... Where is my star rating? Star rating. It's in here somewhere. But that might be something you think about. Show me everybody that has 5 stars. 3 stars. Maybe you decide. There it is, rating. I knew I'd find it. So maybe I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 stars. Hey, show me everybody that has a 4-star rating. I don't even know if I have any. Let's see. Oh, I do. Zippity doo dah. There's 5. Maybe I want to target these people. You want to have your mind blown? Let's use some Smart Assistant. Maybe I select all these people in that left drop-down column menu, and I select the email option, and I use Smart Assistant on the upper right. Folks, you all see that blue button, Smart Assistant? That's BoldTrail's version of ChatGPT. It's some AI built in. Maybe I don't have time. Let's just do a quick, let's just check in. Right? Read it, review it, always. But most of the time, it's pretty good. You notice that one needed a little space under first name. That was a little tight, I thought. But it will pull a merge tag, which will pull your lead's first name. See? I guess you could do it that way too, maybe with a space, however you want to do it. I want to take a moment and check in, see how you're doing. If you have any questions or need assistance with anything related to your real estate needs, please don't hesitate to reach out. And then if you want to add something, well, then add something. I would say this, when any email that you are sending, give them a reason to go to your website. Give them something of value. Let's see what it says. Whether you're considering buying, selling, or just want to stay updated in lead location, so San Diego, let's say, I'm here to help. If I knew that. I am curious, so if I don't have a lead location, what it would say. I digress. And it will pull their first name. But I would do something like this. I would say, search safely and privately on my website for the most accurate property information, including Thanks, Kelly. What your home might be worth. Just, calls to action, some high value content. Home might be worth. Now, how do I put in a link? And it's recommended. Don't actually just put in your website and then expect them to copy it, paste it, open up a browser window. Make it easy. And we do that, as you all know, when we're building an email through that little paperclip link or chain link, right? And saying, what's the URL? Well, you're going to pop in your website. Where did I find it? In the upper right from any screen, click on your avatar. At least on mine, it's 1, 2, 3, 4 down, but wherever that little world is, click on that. It'll pop open your website, copy your URL. You can do that from any screen. Type in that URL or paste in this example. And then what are you going to say? Click here for my website. Always have some reason going to website. It's probably in your signature. And if it isn't, it should be. Let's see if I have it here. Title, call, your name. Nope. If I wanted to add it in my merge tag, I could just say, well, it has my signature. Hopefully you've added your website to your signature. But if you didn't, or you're doing just a manual reach out, I could use the merge tag, the sunburst, go to agent, site URL. Build that email, and then send it out. It's a good target. Well, I'm not seeing any questions out there. We're starting to wrap up. I want to make your time valuable here, folks, and I'd be happy to bring you along one more thing that I think will be helpful. But if you do have questions, I promise you Kelly can answer them if you'd throw them into the chat. How are we feeling all out there? A little temperature check. We've talked about, okay, download mobile apps. I have 2. Great. There is training every single week. Perfect. Training calendar. Okay. Once I import my leads, which is a big first step, and I can do that by typing import up top. You do have to spell correctly. We get them in. You had a discussion today. Hopefully that was helpful on how everything's organized. It's status. It's a prospect. It's status. It's a new lead. It's type. It's a buyer. It's type. It's a seller. And hashtags are where you come in. When you're importing leads, you can create a column for hashtags. Because, folks, let me tell you this. Yes, there is a field for notes. I think it's all the way over at the end on the far, far right. But you can't search on notes. What you can search on are, what? Hashtags. So if I had a note that said, well, they're looking for a 3-bed, big backyard, single story with a pool, wants some privacy, I could hashtag all those words or make it one big hashtag and then search for it. And then I'd create a column when I'm importing my leads, my contacts, whatever you prefer to call them. Let's see where our hashtag is. It doesn't really matter where it is. My team will help. I know it's here. Stand by. There it is. Triple or double A. And if you need multiple hashtags, you can. You just need to use the pipe. So I'll give you a little pro tip here since we're here. I need to make a copy of it so I can edit it. So all I did is went File, Make a Copy. I'm getting rid of that one. Now I have my own. I'm going to go over to 1, 2, 3, 4 from the left, template all fields. I'm going to find that hashtag over in double A. And if you don't have all this info for your import, that's okay. Put in as much as you can. That'll just make it better. So hashtags, if I wanted to put in a hashtag and I want a big backyard, I would type big backyard. Now, how do I do the second one? I don't do anything, no space. I hit a shift. I use that pipe, that straight line, and I put, it's on the right-hand side above your return or enter key, pool. Pipe, P-I-P-E, 1, 2, 3 months. What did I space? I spaced. Don't space. Months. Pipe. San Diego. Pipe. These are, private to you. So that once I import this person, then I can say, show me everybody that has the hashtag San Diego. And they're going to pull up. And that's exactly what you want. So hopefully everyone's getting excited about hashtags, getting your people in here. And you know what else? When you do the import, you have the option. All I did is hit submit file over in lead engine bulk import, submit file, and it pulled up my import request. I read through the fine print. I say I accept. I move to the next page, pulls my contact info, and at the conclusion of this form, We're going to ask you, do you want to send out search alerts to everybody? Market reports to everybody that are in? Valuations if you have their address? What about smart campaigns? But do keep in mind, if you select this, it is going to fire on all cylinders and you're going to get a lot of stuff happening. So be prepared for it would be my advice to you, because I'll get people that say, well, gosh, the smart campaigns, I didn't even know they were going out. And I'm just like, well, they don't happen unless you said so. So I'm making this so none of you experience that, because I'm sure they're thinking maybe, sure, why not? Well, smart campaigns mean a lot of things start happening. You get tasks, emails are going out to your people. Have you categorized them correctly? Is a buyer getting seller information? Is a sphere getting prospect information? That's why it's essential you do that first. In most cases, I'd recommend that you don't do all this stuff. Now, an exception to that would be the search alerts. If you have a price and area, why in the world wouldn't you do that? So you don't have to do it manually, because all they're getting are search alerts. Same with market reports if you know their area. And actually, absolutely the same for valuations if you know their address. Now, these are not CMAs. This is an estimate, an average based on publicly available data. Like Zillow said, we reported the average home price based on everything and divide it in half is, 500,000 kind of thing. So do keep that in mind. And then smart campaigns. But that's the biggie that I just want you to be aware of. If you're ready to make some calls and talk to some people, then by all means, run the campaigns. But now you have a better idea of how those all work. Okay, I'm wrapping it up here, folks. Kelly tells me, my colleague, that no questions so far, and that's either I'm doing a great job or I'm losing everyone. So hopefully you all are, I'm trying to simplify this so you're not scrambling around on what to do. So we downloaded the apps, we imported our leads, and then we're going to reach out to our leads. I showed you over in contacts. One of your main strategies here should be to reach out. Just because you got them in, great. Okay, good first step, good start. Now what? And I showed you using the filters, you can target specific people, or if you want to hit everyone, watch this. Let's say I just imported my leads. Okay, now what? All right, I could select them all. You can do $250 per page. And if you enable that scheduled mass email tool in marketing, you could send it to everybody at once. But let's say, okay, now what? Well, I showed you an email. If I use that Smart Assistant, I could send a welcome email message and just have them write it for me. How about that? And then tweak it as I need. Let me just see if the website's in there. I don't see the website, so I would probably add that again. Always give them a reason to go to your website. Agent, site URL. That's your website. Agent email, there's your cell. And tweak it. If you don't like it, you can change it and send it out. Got to make sure you reach out. And then after you've reached out, use those best practices we talked about for leads with no alerts, leads with no campaigns, and leads with no reports, the market reports, and start working through those. So if you send that out to everyone, some respond, some don't respond. Okay, I think I'm going to put this one on a drip. I'm going to put this one on a drip and a search alert. I'm going to put this one on a drip, a search alert, and a market report, or maybe one of, depending. Per person. You got to make sure you follow up and then repeat. My hope is I get to work with y'all on some lead gen, because we focus primarily in these past 90 days, 100 days of getting started. We've talked about some next level training, including behavioral automation. And then the other one we were doing was CRM marketing, and then why you should choose BoldTrail. So those recordings are all available to you, EXP agents. We are rounding the corner on this, though. Okay, so decisions need to be made, folks, and I hope that you're getting enough info to decide what will work best for your business. I'm bringing us back to the slide deck, and I'm going to bring us around the corner and get you back to your day. So you're going to do what? Go sell a house. Go import your leads. Go reach out to your leads, and let's get this ball rolling. If you'd be so kind, a couple things to remind you. There is chat 7 days a week that you can access from the platform in that lower right. eXp Realty support, outstanding. They can help you. We have weekly training admins and agents. We have live instructor-led moderated chat 4 times a week, at least. 7-day-a-week tech support, thousands of articles. Use them, okay? Put my team to work. There's our calendar. Okay, it's available right in the platform, right in the, when you first log in. Main dashboard, upper right, system training. There's the quick start. There's the training calendar. If you want to go see some paid add-on stuff, go to our marketplace or go to the learning portal just to the right to visit and see all of our available training courses that we have for you. Let me cruise through this. I have one more for you, folks. Get you back to your day. To recap, add your people. Everybody. Put on some automation. Make it your own. Okay? If you would please, pull up your phone, put on the camera app, put it on that QR code. Tell us how we did. Thank you all for being here. I'm going to call that a wrap unless I see any questions, which Kelly has said no. So, folks, let's see. What is today? Wednesday. So next Monday is Labor Day. No class. Wednesday there is. I think it's CRM. It's not CRM of choice. I think it's next level training. Either way, come. It's going to be good. Would be my advice to you. My folks, my name is Brett. I'm going to wish you a good day. I'm going to ask you to go sell a house. And I'm not seeing any questions. And I'm going to thank you all for your time. Cheers. Appreciate you. Take care.